Greetings, everybody. Happy Easter Thursday, the day that this should be coming out for everybody. I know you have been waiting because last week we had a special edition with Holy Week. There just was not time to put together a normal News from the Pews, and we were all crying about that earlier. And I am gathered today with Raivin and Christina. And they are both amongst those who received their sacraments for the first time at Easter Vigil, which was awesome. I'm sure many of you were there, and I'm happy to give you a gift today. And the gift is not only that you are on News from the Pews. I used to have seen these two when they heard the news. They just jumped through. There's a hole in the ceiling. You can't see it. They were so excited. Raivin.
Thank you.
And Christina.
Thank you.
These are your certificates. These are the rest of the certificates. I handed out certificates that night, but these two lovely ladies pointed out that there was a typo on every single one of them, and that was that the saint and the sponsor were confused. But anyways, so we were blessed because Easter Vigil was awesome, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Oh my gosh, we're going to talk about that in a second. It was 2 hours and 45 minutes long this year, so it was kind of a quick one, and but I hope to top 3 hours next year. That was my goal, and it didn't quite happen. I think if we did everything in English and in Spanish, it would have been. But see, we go back and forth. But anyways, tell us, would you both? You received baptism, Raivin.
Yes.
And you received confirmation.
Yes.
And weren't there 3 things?
Convalidation.
Matrimony.
Yes.
Matrimony. We had 4 couples have their marriages convalidated at the end of the Easter Vigil, which was phenomenal. So anyway, we were wondering, I thought, what better idea for News from the Pews this week of Holy Week. We are in the octave, right now of Holy Week, or Easter. Octave of Easter. Easter is so great of a day, it spills over, both liturgically and spiritually, but for 8 days. And then it goes even beyond that. It goes for the full 50 days of the Easter season. So I thought, what better way to celebrate this time than to interview 2 lovely star students.
Yeah, thank you.
Star students of RCA. Tell us about your conversion. How did you end up in RCIA and getting your sacraments at the Easter Vigil?
Well, I kind of had been thinking about it for a long time. I'm not really sure, it was more just I just felt like a calling to it for some reason. And I was kind of just walking with Mom. We do a lot of walks for exercise and stuff, And we were walking on the back road, where River Road is, where Sunset Park is, that path that's back there.
Oh, yeah.
And I kind of just looked at her and we were walking. We talk a lot, obviously, when we walk. And I just said, Mom, I said, I've been thinking a lot lately. And I said, I think I want to become Catholic. And, we just kind of started talking about it and stuff. And, of course, when I decide something, I don't know if Sister Jones kind of told you, but, I have to, research, everything. And so, she said, well, if you want to become Catholic, we have to go through classes. She goes, I'll do it with you.
Oh.
And so, that, made me, super excited. I was like, really? You'll go through it with me? And so, it was kind of funny because whenever we went and talked to Sister Joan, Mom found out she wasn't confirmed. So, it was she's obviously got sacraments out of it too.
That's right. Right. Praise the Lord.
Right.
And so you had never been confirmed.
No.
How did that happen?
I was, let me see, I went to St. Joe, first grade, and
St. Joe School. Who was your first grade teacher?
Mrs. Evans.
Oh, I've heard that name before.
Yes, and so I went to that, and then things just sort of went sideways, and we ended up going to a local school and stuff. So I'm from a big family, and that's.
How many is big?
9.
Wow.
9 kids.
Fantastic.
9 kids,
Oh
and
my gosh.
I'm the middle of the 9.
Wow.
So
Do you have middle child syndrome?
I do.
Do you really? You're like the peacemaker.
I am. I really am. That's the truth.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. A lot of people come to me, and I'm not sure why. But
All of her siblings call her for everything.
yes, they do.
Oh.
But
Well,
yeah.
that keeps you busy, doesn't it?
But yeah, I was missing church. After 2020, me and my sister was going all the time, and while her and I was out for our walk or whatever, I told her, I said, I would love to go to Palm Sunday, this coming Sunday. I said, would you go with me? And that's where she was like, I've really been thinking a lot about, becoming Catholic. And
Because you told Raven that.
yes.
And then she's like, I kind of want to do
Right?
that.
That's
Palm Sunday 2020.
2020,
20,
well, it would have been.
no, 2020 was the Palm Sunday that we had
20
no palms. It was the palmless Palm Sunday because of the
2022.
COVID.
It would have been last February. It was a nice February day.
Yeah.
We were out
Yeah.
walking. And then, so was it you that called Sister Joan and she told us to come into the,
Yes, so we met her at her house.
yes, yeah, we met up with Sister
So we
Joan.
signed up for RCIA last year early. It was February of 2022.
Yeah,
Which was
Wow, that is nice and early.
yeah, and it seems like it went so fast.
Oh, yeah.
But we've learned so much. There's just so many things I didn't know, and I just feel like everybody should really, like come to an RCIA class,
Yeah.
even if you've been going to church for a really long time.
You just learn so much.
Yeah, you
don't
really do.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the RCA Classroom. Now, we're in the schoolhouse at St. Vincent School, or St. Vincent Parish, I should say. And this is where it's met every year that I've been here, except for last year when we had 30 people in it. And so we met in the hall. That was a large batch. But anyway, so this year in the English speaking, there's been about 12 here just in this room on a given week. So what's that been like, this whole process of coming every week, learning more, deepening your prayer life, your life with Christ? What's it kind of done for you?
Well, I was telling Mom that I've honestly even changed the way I pray. I used to kind of just pray silently, and now I actually I kneel at the side of my bed every night and pray. So it's just even small things like that. Since we've been going, I don't know, it just feels like everything's kind of deepening and I guess strengthening.
Deepening, yeah.
And I feel like, for me, with us doing it together, that I don't know, it just means so much. You cannot even,
Yeah, I've really, really liked doing it with Mom.
yeah.
And that's a key thing.
Yeah.
Families, think of how many sets of siblings. Here I noted your saint is St. Francis of Assisi.
Mm-hmm.
Well, St. Clair of Assisi. Where you have a St. Francis, you have a St. Clair. Where you have a St. Clair, you got a St. Francis. And saints so often come in groups. And I've just noticed that, look at the apostles. Jesus calls them 2 by 2. He didn't call just one. And so here he called the both of you into this beautiful journey, which you've got to share with each other. Because you've shared it on every day almost.
Yes.
Yes.
You've talked about things every day. And
Yes. Yeah, and we'll call each other and, kind of reference things or whatever. She's learned the prayers, all of them. Me, on the other hand, I'm still.
I actually, the thing that helped me was before I wanted to come to Mass a little bit before I started coming, but I was a little, what's the word I'm looking
A
for?
little intimidated?
Yes.
Oh.
It's perfect. That's the perfect word. So what I did was, I'm one of those people, I told you, I have to research and learn everything first. So I actually looked up an order of Mass and compared them with your guys's, the live streams of Masses on Facebook, and I was like, okay, they say this prayer, and I literally learned, I memorized every single prayer.
I have to tell
and,
you,
what to do before
remember
I came to
the
Mass.
first scrutiny, or maybe it was the rite of a reception, but Raven called and said, that you had gone into the archives of our streamed Masses to see what it looked like last year. I said, well, just it looked that way last year. It might not look the same this way. But anyway, it worked out. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. So what would you say, Raven? You were a little intimidated, and you were one of 9 people that got baptized at Easter Vigil, and then there were the total of 17 get different sacraments. And but what would you say to somebody who's not baptized, maybe an adult, and maybe they're just kind of intimidated. They don't know about the Catholic Church, and what kind of word of encouragement would you give them?
I would just tell them to maybe kind of reach out to, with me, we reached out to Sister Joan, and she was able to point us in the right direction. And I don't know, maybe if they could find with mom, like I had my mom, like so maybe if they had a friend that was maybe interested in joining with them,
Yeah.
possibly, so they weren't doing it alone, or if they had like a friend that was already inside the church that could kind of guide them too.
Yes. Relationships. Relationships. That's what it boils down to. And ultimately that relationship with God. That's awesome. I'm excited for what God has done and what God is doing. Tell us the Easter Vigil. What did that feel like, Chris, when you were, what was going through your heart? I noticed you were tearing up in the Mass a little bit there.
Well, at Easter Vigil, I don't know. I don't know. I just get really, I don't know how to really put it other than, well, I'm happy for like her, like for Raivin. I'm happy for me. I'm happy to be back in the church. I love listening to you. I mean, I do. Deacon Charlie, just everything.
Well, there's nothing wrong with your taste.
You're very, you're very, you're very like
Not stuffy.
not stuffy. You're open-armed, which is like it means so much because it is. It's like a huge like weight lifted off of your shoulders when you walk into a church and you feel like they're receiving you in, you know, and they're, you know, so you feel like it's, but for the Easter Vigil, yeah, I mean, all of it was.
Broke the armrest. Don't tell sister.
It was really, the whole entire thing was just a beautiful experience.
Yeah.
Did it feel like 2 hours and 45 minutes to you? Did it kind of fly by?
No, it flew by. All of this has flown by. I mean, it's amazing how quickly everything went. And I told Raivin, I said, you know, I'm going to miss, you know, my RCA. Like, it's been a really positive experience for me. I mean, I think for us both.
Yeah.
It's been
What we're in now is, you know, you might say as you're watching this video, what are you still doing in the RCA classroom? RCA is over, but it's not, because there's, ever since the early church, after, this is the last part of the RCA process of integration of church, because you have the part where you're just kind of dabbling in it, then you kind of commit a little bit more, and that's where the scrutinies kind of culminate that part of the journey, and then your sacraments. But then there's this time of mystagogy, where you reflect, like what we're doing here. And tonight, before we videoed, we had class tonight, and kind of reflect on what those graces looked like. You know, what was going through my heart. And it's kind of like what you're saying, like there's no words. There is no words for grace. I mean, you can't explain it, but we can try. And but then it's also this piece of being integrated into the larger life of Christ, the life of the church, his body. And so we did tonight. We walked over. We looked at all the different ministries at the parishes, and so these two, look at their faces, everybody, because you're going to be seeing them everywhere. You are, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because they're going to be starting. They're signing up for everything.
Yeah.
Everything. And Raivin, for example, is going to be helping with youth group, and fantastic. And she's going to be there every Sunday.
That's what he says.
She told me every other, but then I forgot about the other part. But anyway, you guys are going to do, and I think it'd be cool for you to do things together.
Sure.
You know, to help with VBS together, help with religious ed together, help with some of these other ministries of outreach and charity and formation. It's just God's got great plans. Great plans. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for sure.
And then 2 weeks from now, we will have the RCA party. And that we are all looking forward to. So, blessings. Do you have any final words?
I guess I'm just really excited to finally be Catholic.
I am too!
I'm
This is
excited
what it's
for it.
about.
That's what I told her. I said, you're a Catholic girl now.
I know, it's like, it just like feels so weird because it's just like been such like a long like waiting, and then it's like, oh wait, I'm Catholic now. Like, you know what I mean?
You are Catholic.
Like there's no more waiting.
Isn't it great?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. We had a guest here today, You may not have ever heard of this lady before. Her name is Gay McKinney. And she was at RCA tonight to talk about her conversion and how she got involved and all those different things. And she's talking about how that just like that desire to be Catholic and how it was always there, even in a weird way, planted when she was a kid, you know, and in your way it was planted when you were years and years ago. But that desire has grown and grown and grown, and then boom, now you're there.
Yep.
But the good news is our conversion continues every day. And somebody once said to, I forget what saint this was, they said, when did you convert? Because he had been a Protestant. And they said, when did you convert? And he said, I'm still converting. He said, if you're asking when I got my sacraments, it was received fully into the Catholic Church, the fullness of the church. That would have been the date, but then he said, I'm still converting. And that's all of us, including your holy and sometimes not so holy priest.
Yeah, you continue to grow.
We do.
Yeah.
We have to. We have to.
So,
All right. Well, blessings to both of you. Congratulations on behalf of the whole parish. And
you.
Thank you.
And God bless you all. And I just would encourage you, invite somebody. There is a Raivin and a Chris in all of our lives, and who are waiting to become full members of the Holy Catholic Church. God bless us. All right, everybody, take care.